Chapter 1-1. The events take place in the Department of Cultural Policy. A girl with red hair and decent buffers chastises her subordinate, folding her arms under her breasts. The boss tries to understand why the guy does not do the work she gives him. The guy is very worried. He mumbles apologies, trying to justify himself. According to him, the work that he did not do belongs to the boss, not to him. The girl abruptly gets up from her seat, approaching her subordinate. She gently asks him to do all the work assigned to him, and in return the guy will receive a gift. At the same time, she calls him by name. The guy's name is Jae-seok. The girl puts her hand on the guy's shoulder, bending slightly in front of him. The guy looks at the big buffers of the girl, after which he nervously agrees, looking away. The boss calls him a good boy in response, starting to stroke his head. The boss asks the guy to finish the report before lunch, then she will give him the gift he wants. The guy is angry about this attitude to his person. Jae is not very happy with this attitude towards himself. The boss treats him like a child, even though he is a year older than her. His discontent immediately fades into the background when he sees a girl leaving, who very seductively wags her hips. Jae-seok dreams of looking up a girl's skirt, mentally noticing that only one such thought wakes up his little friend. The action is transferred to the street. The hero is sitting on a bench with his workmate. The hero says that he again had to endure the attacks of the boss, and his colleague believes that this is a forced measure. In his opinion, they may be left without a salary for refusal. A colleague of the guy notes that his eyesight has deteriorated due to work, so he jokingly asks his friend to help him with this. Jae-seok, on the other hand, mentally notices that he always does his job completely. His interlocutor also says that sometime in the distant future, the guy will be able to ask his boss for debts. The bespectacled man mentally imagines how the girl seductively undresses in front of him. A colleague notices that the girl has a beautiful and elastic ass. The hero cannot disagree with this. Just from the thought of it, two men get dignity. A voice from behind ruins the dreams of two guys. They look back. They are greeted by the boss with another girl. The boss notes that the guys are perverts, and her friend only supports this idea. Guys start sweating from this. They become very uncomfortable, because they were caught at the most inopportune moment. The boss leans over the hero. She gently strokes his head, noting that they came at the wrong time. The girl also asks Jae-seok to return to the office and continue writing the report. At the same time, she calls him a baby. The girls begin to leave, after which the boss's girlfriend notes that the guys are very pathetic from birth and there is no way to change this. The boss laughs at this statement, noting that the guys behave more appropriately at work. The hero enters the room. He hears voices from the next office. He looks into it through a small window. In the room, a beautiful girl is teaching a lesson to elementary school children. She very carefully asks the children for their knowledge, and those who could not answer her question, she asks them to remember. The girl pays attention to the window. The hero meets her gaze and recognizes her. The girl's name is Song-mai. Jae-seok notes that Song-mai is the most beautiful girl he knows. She is also his first love. Once in the past, the hero helped her paint a poster for an event. The poster had the following inscription: "Never put off until tomorrow what you can do today." Song-mai goes out to the guy in the hallway. They sit on the seats. The hero did not expect to meet a girl here. He gets very nervous and blushes. He doesn't have the heart to start a conversation. The girl takes the initiative into her own hands. It turns out that this is her first job after college. In order not to lead a monologue, Song-mai switches to the guy. The hero says that everything is fine with him, noting that the world is very small since they met here. There is an awkward pause. Jae-seok gathers his thoughts and starts talking. He says that he works in the Department of Culture, after which he asks the interlocutor about how she works in the Department of Education. The girl answers willingly. She likes her job because the hourly wage is quite high. The guy agrees with this, noting that recently the fee for holding conferences has increased significantly. Song-mai's hourly wage is about 25,000 won. It's a little unsettling for the guy. The girl herself is amazed at such a sum, but she says that it has its own problems. Since the girl is a teacher, she is sometimes asked to buy textbooks due to budget shortages. Song-mai admits that at first she bought textbooks with her own money. It upset her. For all these words, the hero only squeezes out one word, agreeing with the words of the girl. Song-mai notices this, so she asks head-on. She wants to know why the guy is so embarrassed. The guy just shrugs it off, saying that it's completely different. He also states that he is trying to solve the girl's problem somehow. Song-mai refuses to help. She doesn't want to inconvenience the guy, but the hero just asks her not to worry. Evening is approaching. The working day ends. Jae-sung is also trying to figure out the problem of his beloved. He found out that there is a grant for textbooks for lectures in the amount of 40,000 won. The hero's thoughts are interrupted by the boss. She says goodbye to all subordinates. The guy also pays attention to her. Everyone says goodbye to her, except the main character. This surprises the boss a little, but she does not show it. After half an hour, the office is empty and Jae-sung is left alone. The guy wants to get to the bottom of the truth because it concerns Song Mai. He finds something very exciting because he can't sit still. The hero turns on someone else's computer. He wants to make sure of his guesses. Jae-sun has an assumption that his boss is stealing funds. The guy is tormented by conscience. He is seriously thinking about whether to hand over the girl or not. The hero himself notes that in the place of the boss, he would not do such reckless things. Well, or at least he didn't leave evidence on the computer. Jae-sung finds the necessary documents and does not believe his eyes. Because of the shock, he does not notice how someone approaches him from behind. It turns out to be the boss. The girl looms threateningly over her subordinate. The hero jumps in fear, but then becomes completely calm. The boss does not pay attention to this. She doesn't like that someone is sitting at her computer. She looks at the monitor, trying to figure out what the guy was doing. When the boss realizes that the monitor is open, the pupils of her eyes narrow with fear. The guy wants to understand the motivation of the girl because the allocated budget and expenses are different. This means that the boss took some of the money for herself. The boss starts sweating. However, gritting her teeth, she accepts the accusations. The girl confesses that she left part of the funds to herself. She leans her booty on the computer table. She states that she planned to return the money when she would have had the funds. The hero mentally notices that you can't do that. The girl begins to bargain with the guy. She wants the hero to keep her secret a secret. In return, she won't touch him. Jae-seok is surprised by this behavior of the girl. He realized that he had found her weak spot. The boss perceives his ignoring in her own way, continuing another privilege. It consists in the fact that the hero will be able to take a sick leave without a medical certificate. The guy doesn't agree to it. He decides to make the most of the situation. The boss just asks what the guy wants. She is very nervous, but Jae-seok is also worried. The atmosphere is heating up. The hero finally speaks his demands. He wants sex. The girl is in shock while the guy confidently approaches her. The hero believes that the girl should pay for her shoals. The events in the office continue to gain momentum. Another 20 minutes passed. The boss says that the guy has gone crazy. She laughs in his face, talking about the conditions under which she will sleep with him. Either he pays her 3 million won, or he has to be the last guy on earth. Jae-sung begins to panic, but still finds something to answer the thief. He is going to hand her over to higher management, and then to the police. The boss hits the guy on the top of the head with her fist for such audacity. The girl admits that she did not expect to hear this from a guy. She waves him goodbye and asks him to go home, where he can have a lot of fun with his boyfriend. Holding onto his head, which hurts, Jae-sung cannot accept such an outcome of events. Seeing how the boss leaves him, wagging his fifth point, he decides to fight to the end because there may not be another chance. The hero begins to explain to the girl her position under the law. Embezzlement of funds falls under the article of the Criminal Code, which provides for imprisonment for a term not exceeding 5 years or a fine of 15 million won. Since they are civil servants, the punishment becomes more severe. The fine reaches the size of 30 million won, and imprisonment up to 10 years. These words make the boss stop. The girl turns around, trying to cope with the shock. The guy is interested in why the boss needed 3 million won. The girl is still under the impression the only thing she can give out is a moo. The hero confidently approaches her, putting an ultimatum at the same time. Either he hands her over to the authorities, or she immediately lifts her skirt. Jae-sung is determined. The boss sees it. She throws him an insult in return, but still lifts her skirt. The guy's face changes beyond recognition. The reason for the guy's surprise was the panties with a bear. The girl is very shy about this, but still sits down on 100. Jae-sung kisses the girl's panties, feeling her soft pussy. Park Eun covers her mouth, holding back a squeak of pleasure. The hero takes off her panties, then spreads her legs. He freezes for a few seconds, because for the first time he sees a woman's crotch. The girl doesn't like it much, but the guy is not up to it right now. He gently touches the pussy, then decides to taste it. This time, Park Eun doesn't have time to close her mouth. An exclamation of pleasure escapes her lips. She asks the hero to stop, but he ignores her. Jae-sun works well with his tongue, making the boss scream with pleasure. After a few seconds, it stops. The hero declares that the girl's pussy is much better than he imagined. Park Eun also recalls that she asked not to do this. Then the boss hears sounds from the corridor. A flashlight is shining through the windows. The couple realizes that the guards came to the strange sounds. The male security guard asks if there is anyone in the office. A couple is hiding behind one of the sections. The man checks the door, but it is closed. Then he leaves, considering that it seemed to him. The girl decides to look out of hiding. She turns fifth place to the guy. This is perceived only as a challenge. Jae-sung starts licking pussy again, but the boss pushes him away, considering him almost crazy. The guy wants the girl to bring him pleasure too, because he pleased her. Park Eun is trying to give it up. The guy reminds me of his threats. This literally forces the girl to agree. But she sets a condition for the guy that this is in return for sexual intercourse. The hero rejoices in this, too. He is literally over the moon with happiness. The boss gets on her knees and unzips the guy's fly. She is already sadly thinking that the guy will have a little cucumber, because his body is childish, but the girl is waiting for another positive news. Park Ayoung sees the guy's cucumber and can't believe his eyes. It's very big and tough. She is amazed by what she has seen, which is why she freezes for a few seconds. Jae-sung hurries the girl. He doesn't like her staring at him like that. The boss asks the guy not to frown. She slowly and hesitantly takes the subordinate's banana. She does not believe what is happening now, because she is going to do it in such a place. Discarding unnecessary thoughts, she still takes Jae-sun's cucumber in her mouth, which causes him an indescribable feeling of euphoria. Ahs of pleasure are spreading through the hall. Park Ayoung makes the guy feel good. Jae-sung himself notes to himself that this is a very strange feeling. Although he praises the girl out loud, the boss is trying. Although it is clear that she is not at ease, she is a little ashamed of everything that is happening. The hero likes this feeling when his little friend literally melts in the girl's mouth. Now the guy has learned what foreplay is before an intimate relationship. Park Ayoung begins to take a zucchini deeper into his mouth, wanting to bring more pleasure to his partner. The hero likes it, but he demands that the partner does it even deeper. The girl goes to the bells, to the enthusiastic exclamations of Jae-sun. Suddenly, the hero realizes that now his seed will flow. The guy presses his hands on the girl's head, literally impaling her on his zucchini. He warns that the seminal fluid is about to pour. A stream of semen rushes into Park Ayoung's throat. The girl has tears in her eyes, but she still holds out. The seed turns out to be too much. A few drops fall attacked, and a couple more on the big breasts of the girl. The boss is surprised that the partner is already satisfied. The hero does not quite understand the question, trying to catch his breath. Park Ayoung, having received no clear answer, pulls on her panties, lowers her skirt to a normal position, and then declares that she is leaving. Jae-sung wants to stop her, but his dignity prevents him. After all, you can't run around the office without pants. The next day, the hero is sitting in his chair. He is completely satisfied with life and does not pay attention to anything. He is completely immersed in his work. Park Ayoung is sitting one seat away in the same row with him. She doesn't mind seeing a guy's face like that. This insouciance infuriates her. It turns out that the boss had a very difficult path to civil service. In the past, she was a seller selling cigarettes for a while, but these are trifles. The girl was bullied during her studies. It's very imprinted in her head. Hack notices that a drop of greed is not enough reason for yesterday's incident. Looking at the working Jae-sun, from whose face a joyful smile does not slip, the girl involuntarily looks down at his jeans. The pupils of her eyes narrow from just one memory of last night. She remembers the size of the main weapon of the hero. A small squeak from the boss attracts Jae-sun's attention. He turns to her, wanting to know the reason for this behavior. Puck turns away abruptly. She blushes, covering her face with her hair. Mentally, the girl wonders why she behaves like this. The sound of a message on the phone brings her out of her thoughts. Pak quickly grabs the phone, starting to read the message. The content of the message makes the girl very angry. It turns out that Jae-sung decides to take full advantage of the girl's weakness. He asks the boss to buy food for the children. After a while, the hero comes to the children's class. There he is met by Song-mai. He thanks the guy for shopping for the kids. Each child was bought a hot dog and a container of milk. The hero shrugs it off, saying that it's all the support of the state. In fact, Park Ayoung paid for all the food for the children. However, for Song-mai, it doesn't really matter how it happened. It matters to her who tried for this. She thanks the hero for this, but the guy does not understand her mood, because he does not consider his act something outstanding. The girl switches to the children. She asks them to hurry up, motivating them by saying that she can finish eating for them herself. Song-mai is a very kind girl. In the past, she has never spent her money on buying lunches for children. Many scolded her for this, because the girl gave all of herself to the children, sometimes forgetting about herself. Jae-sung also notes that it doesn't matter for a girl whether others know or not. She always works hard and spends her money on children. The hero suddenly remembers that he managed to get a grant for textbooks. He informs Song-mai about it. The girl is in the seventh heaven of happiness. She pounces on the guy, literally pinching him between her breasts. The guy is very embarrassed by this. He says the girl shouldn't thank him for that. A red-haired head appears in the window of the corridor. Park Ayoung sees everything happening. She is very angry with the guy. The boss finally understood how the subordinate found out about her dark deeds. She realizes that the guy tried not for the sake of justice, but for the sake of the girl. The day is nearing its end. Song-mai and Park Ayoung meet in the corridor. The boss starts a conversation. She believes that teaching low-income children is pointless. The girl also hints that she knows about the altruism of a subordinate. At first, Park gently hints that Song-mai is overdoing it with children. The interlocutor only responds by saying that these classes at the cultural center are important to her. These words infuriate Pak. The boss says that all the actions of the girl do not make sense. All this is a kindergarten. She threatens the subordinate with dismissal if she continues to behave like this. Park tries to support the girl a little by putting his hand on her shoulder. However, quickly realizing that it has no effect, she leaves. Tears come to Song Mai's eyes. It is clear that the words of the boss hit her hard, but the girl quickly comes to her senses. She wipes away her tears and gathers her thoughts. The whole conversation of the two girls was watched by the hero, who hid around the corner. It's 20 minutes to 7. All the workers have already gone home. There are only two people left in the office, Park Iung and Jae-sung. The guy looks at the boss with a disapproving look. The girl does not understand what she did wrong. She's getting nervous. The girl assumes that the reason is yesterday. Perhaps she couldn't fully satisfy him. However, that's not the point at all. Jae-sung wants to know why the boss said so many nasty things to Song Mai. The meaning of the question does not immediately reach Pak. She is surprised at how quickly the information reached the hero. She tries to pretend that nothing happened, but the guy's look literally makes her confess. She declares that she will apologize to Sun Mai tomorrow. The girl is also afraid that yesterday will happen again. She notes that Jae-sun has a dirty dignity, so she won't take it in her mouth. The hero confidently notices that an apology from the boss is normal. It doesn't look like a punishment. For this reason, he hits the girl on the buns. Puck bends down, rubbing the place of impact. She's in pain. She doesn't understand what the guy is doing. Jae-sung also explains that he will punish the boss if she does something wrong.